Another school district is considering changing to a 4-day school week. 27J schools in Brighton, Thornton, Commerce City, and Henderson believe this change could help them keep their teachers. The big plus is, of course, having a 3-day weekend. The minus is a major adjustment for parents who work 5 days a week. District 27J is busting at the seams. They have great teachers, but with the existing tax base and voters' unwillingness to pay more taxes, the district says they are struggling to keep and to pay competitive salaries. District officials hope their proposal to switch to a 4-day work week would be enough incentives to keep those teachers. Well, as you might expect, parents are mixed about this concept.
Parents work Monday through Friday, and so taking out Mondays is going to be really hard with childcare. It's already hard enough, and childcare is already very expensive.
So 4-day school weeks, low pay, crowded classrooms, those are just some of the challenges facing Colorado teachers this school year. I recently sat down with the head of the Colorado Education Association to talk about what they see as their priorities and what the state legislature is addressing. We are joined today by Colorado Education Association President Carrie Dahlman, and thank you for being here. We know the CEA is involved in a whole lot of legislation, but per pupil funding, I mean, it's always a top issue for the legislature, but it doesn't seem to be addressed in Colorado year after year.
Well, that's largely due to the fact that Colorado is the only state in the nation that has to go to a direct vote of the people in order to increase revenue for schools. And so the way Colorado has balanced their budget is through a process called the negative factor, or what they're now calling the budget stabilization factor. Through that process now, Colorado is behind $828 million in school funding that they don't have the ability to make up unless it's a year like this year when revenue forecasts have come in more positively.
Right. I know people always ask this, but what about the marijuana tax money that is going to our schools? Is it having an impact?
Well, it's incorrect to think that that solved our school funding issue. Marijuana tax money, when the Colorado voters passed that, was reserved specifically for helping school districts with capital construction. That's the money that school districts can access in order to update their boilers, fix their roofs, or build a new school. And often that marijuana tax money for capital construction has to be matched by a local funding measure passed at the school district level.
So it has no impact on really what you're most concerned about is teacher shortage, right? That is one of your top priorities.
It does not even touch the teacher shortage issue.
So what do you see in terms of legislation that might address that issue this year? Because I know there is a bill about, well, a couple of bills, right?
Right. There are a number of bills primarily addressed at helping pay off student loans or helping provide housing assistance for people in education. I mean, what people need to understand is that the teacher shortage isn't just a rural problem, it's an urban problem. And, you know, we see it really playing out in Denver in terms of the costs of housing. And you may be aware that Denver Public Schools has been talking about turning an abandoned school into teacher housing. And it's created an uproar in the community. And I have to side with the community. Here you have a school district who admittedly wants to do the right thing, but hasn't engaged in a conversation with the community about what's best for that particular school.
I read about another bill that would require schools to inform students about the benefits of taking college or technical school classes. Isn't that already done in our classrooms?
Well, I would think that our school counselors and teachers are already doing that. But a lot of our schools don't have a great array of vocational and technical education opportunities, and again, because we're not adequately funding our schools. You know, this is a part of ensuring that kids are graduating college and career ready, and it's important that they know what their opportunities are after school.
What are your thoughts on Brighton going to a 4-day school week?
You know, more and more our districts are being forced to move to a 4-day week because of budget shortfalls. In the case of Brighton School District 27J, they attempted to pass a mill levy this past November, and unfortunately it failed. You know, mill levies provide the operating dollars for a school district, and what is left for Brighton to make up that shortfall is some tough choices, and one of those choices under consideration is that 4-day week.
So it always comes back to funding. What, is there an easy solution out there? Obviously not, because we haven't gotten there. But what do you see as the solution?
Well, I think it's clear that there's going to have to be a plan that comes forward, ideally in a bipartisan way, to increase revenue for our public schools.
Okay. Well, we will be watching to see what the legislature does and what the CEA's interests are this legislative session. Thank you so much, Carrie
Thank
Dahlman.
you.
Appreciate it. We'll be right back.